Hey, what's up, y'all? Today I'm going to go through and do some UFC 276 fight predictions. I'm just going to be short and sweet. I don't want to ramble much. This is just kind of for the betters, who are looking to see, kind of get some predictions. So I think Izzy's going to smoke Cannonier. I don't even really think it's going to be close. I don't think Cannonier is going to be able to stand with him at all. Maybe he can take him down. I don't know. I doubt it. I think that, well, Izzy's a 5-1 favorite. I certainly don't see an upset there. I think Volkanovski does the same thing that he's done the last two fights. I think it's another close fight, but I think he's just a better fighter. And I think just from watching the press conference a minute ago, it looks kind of like he's a little bit in Max's head. Like he has to be. He's been whooped twice, but not whooped, but he's been beat twice by him. So you know, I'd be really surprised if Max Holloway pulls that off. Just for several reasons. Like I said, we've seen the fight twice, and then there's the mental aspect of it. He's already been beat twice. The Strickland fight, the UFC is obviously trying to set up the Izzy Pereira fight because of what happened in kickboxing. I actually think Strickland gets it done. But I haven't seen Pereira fight a whole lot. I wouldn't be surprised if Strickland goes in there and tries to wrestle him. Um, I don't think the crowd and I don't think the fans will like that, but I think that if there is a crowd, it might be at the Apex. It might not even be a crowd. I'm not sure, but um, oh yeah, it's a pay per view, so there's a crowd. Yeah, I don't think the fans will like it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Strickland wrestles the first round and then just jabs him to death for the next two. I think Barberina beats Lawler. I think Lawler's just past his prime, and Barberina's pretty good. Um, O'Malley Munoz has fought everybody, man. He's fought everybody at 135. He got kind of lucky punched by Garbrandt. But other than that, man, he's held his own against everybody. But I think O'Malley's just too long for him, and I think he's going to do another. I think you're going to see probably a highlight reel knockout. If I'm being honest, I'm not a huge O'Malley fan, but I think that's what you're going to see. I'm not a hater of him either, but I'm not crazy in the pink hair and all that kind of stuff. And then the two sleeper fights for me are the two last prelims. The Brad Riddell, Jalen Turner. I think that's a good fight. I think Turner probably gets it done. He's a big, long dude. I think he's probably going to get it done. But Riddell's a stud, man. So that's a super fight. I'm pretty stoked about watching that one. And then the Ian Gary fight. He's fighting a dude named Gabe Green. I never, he's not somebody that most people know. I mean, I'm a pretty hardcore fan, and I don't, I couldn't remember for him a second. I had to go back and look at some of his fights. But he went the distance with Daniel Rodriguez, who's an absolute beast. Um, so, and he's won his last two fights. Gary is supposed to be the next big Irish thing. So, like, I think that's a fight I'm really interested in. I'm curious to see how good this Ian Gary is. I watched his first two fights, and he's kind of struggled a little bit. He's got the knockout, but he's kind of struggled a little bit in those fights. Um, I mean, he just wasn't totally dominant. Like I said, he got the knockout eventually, but he wasn't like he didn't dominate from like some of these guys just come in and just walk through people. Like he didn't really seem to do that in either one of his fights. And then the Jim Miller Cerrone fight, we've already seen that fight. Both of these dudes are old. Cerrone won the first fight. I remember watching the first fight. I can't remember. Well, I want to say he knocked him out with a head kick. I can't really remember. But they got Miller as the favorite, and Cerrone's kind of went through some things. Man, it's hard, man. I think that if these two were fighting when they fought before in their prime, I think Cerrone wins that fight fairly easily, just like he did before. But I think that Cerrone's got some issues. He's getting older. He's lost a lot of fights. But I'm still going to go with Cerrone just because, like I said, if I can remember correctly, he knocked Miller out. And that's going to be in the back of both of their heads. So that fight's already played out, and I think it probably plays out the same way again. And Cerrone's tough on the ground, so if Miller wants to try to take him down and ground and pound him, I can see Cerrone submitting him. So I think they end up in a stand-up fight for the most part, and I think Cerrone's just a better striker. So and then the Brad Tavares, the Duplea fight, I think Duplea wins that fight. I've seen him fight before. He's pretty good fighter. Then the only other fight on the card is Uriah Hall and Andre Munoz. I think Munoz wins that fight. Decent card, top to bottom. Not anything, again, not any like fights that I'm just like super jump out on me. Like I said, I think for me personally, I'm going pretty much with the favorite in every fight. I'm sorry, I'm looking over here at the lineup on the thing. For me personally, I'm going up pretty much with the favorite. I'm picking two underdogs. One of them Cerrone, who's already won that fight, and the other one is Barberena. I think Barberena is going to take Lawler, but that's basically a pick'em fight. I think Lawler is a minus 120, and Barberena is a plus 100. So it's basically a pick'em. But I think technically, uh, Lawler's the favorite. And I'm not even going to talk about the chick fights. I don't really care about them. I won't even watch them. So, but yeah, decent card. Like I said, like I said, Izzy's a 5-1 favorite. I think he smokes Cannonier. I don't really think anybody's picking Cannonier. Now watch Cannonier come out and win the fight. And look, I hope that he does. Like if I was choosing like who I wanted to win, I would pick Cannonier. I just don't think he's the dude to do that. Matter of fact, I think. Strickland or I haven't seen Pereira fight much, but I think Strickland and Izzy would be a pretty good. Um, I think Strickland would be a pretty good fight with Izzy because they're both really good stand-up guys. But even that fight, I think Izzy probably wins. I mean, anybody who's just gonna stand with Izzy is gonna have a problem, unless they're long or bring something different to the table. And Strickland's just kind of a dude who just has solid boxing, good defense, and just really runs behind his jab. So I think that fight would kind of just be two dudes, Strickland jabbing and Izzy trying to snipe him. So anyway, there's your predictions. Y'all have a good day. God bless.